Welcome to Ode to Games. My name's Logan Plant, joined today by Zach Rost. How's it going, Zach?
Going good. It's just us today
Yeah, Kevin
now.
is on vacation, but he's going to join us. Past Kevin is going to join past Logan and past Zach coming up in our second segment. No news this week, bit of a shorter show for you. Right now, we are going to talk about Fall Guys Season 5, which dropped earlier this week. Zach and I have had the chance to play it 2 or 3 times together, put a couple hours into Season 5. There are 6 new games. It is jungle themed. So, yeah, early impressions, Zach, of Fall Guys Season 5. Go for it.
Yeah, early impressions. I've only played four out of the six games because I had to hang up. So with the new season, there's this show that you can do that's just the new games. And whenever we did that show, I I got to like the third game, which is a bubble game. It's like a hoops game where you have to collect the bubbles for points in order to qualify. And I would always get to like 14 out of 15 points, and then it would just end. So I never moved on to the next game, which was like
Yeah.
a Penguin Pursuit level game, where you run around individually and collect points by holding a penguin. And I've never done the finale, so those are the two that I haven't done. So I can only attest to how I feel about two-thirds of the season so far. Um, it's pretty hit or miss for me. I like probably half of the levels I've played so far. The other two are, I don't like one of them, and one of them I'm kind of warming up on. For some reason, I find this season I've had a harder trouble adapting to. I think I was pretty flawless on season four as soon as it kicked off. Like I was nailing those levels right off the bat. But these ones they've been really kicking my butt for the most part. So I don't know if these levels are just harder or I'm getting worse at the game. Either I'm not entirely sure which it could be, but so far, yeah, it's been a pretty mixed season for me. Definitely not as good as season three, but better than season four, I'd say. Overall, I love the theme. I think
Yeah.
the aesthetic is pretty great. I love the costumes they've had, and so far, the first crossover event coming up is Ratchet and Clank, which I think is super cool. There's a couple small crossovers in the leveling up system. I think the Spelunky guy is one of them. So it's cool that they're including that, but yeah, looking forward to Ratchet and Clank. I've been saving on my crowns. It's easier to get crowns off the beginning of levels, or the beginning of a season, because you can level up and get crowns as opposed to having to win.
Yeah.
But there's also a new duo squad mode that we've been trying out a lot. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so 2 player squads. I think this is something we wanted.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so in season 4, they added squads mode in general, which is 4 players. You have to be in a group of 4. You can have one friend, 2 friends, or no friends, and then be paired up with strangers if to fill in the rest of the slots. And now they have added duos, so you just need one other person. That's perfect for me and Zach, who play most of the time just with each other. But I think that we felt, oh, we can totally win 5 in a row. We've only won once so far on the duos, and it was the longest game of Jump Showdown of my life. It took forever, and I think it's because there's a lot of people like me and Zach out there who are really good at this game. Who are like, we can finally get that trophy if we go and play the duos mode just with each other, and so it's pretty competitive. I have felt that it's more competitive than the squads mode because I think the difference is that like there's like no bad teammates anymore
yeah.
almost.
There was one of the biggest problem with squads of four is that you probably have one person who's just dead weight, and
Yeah.
it seems like everyone was having that problem because now everyone's really good in the duo
Yeah.
squad mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I really like the ad though. The only thing I didn't like is at first, the first like 2 days or one day of the season, normal squads was not there. So you could only do solo modes or duos, but they added that back in. And it looks like there's no timer underneath the normal 4 person squads mode. So I think that's just was like a mistake or something.
I
Cause
think it
it's,
might have
yeah.
been a backlash of feedback being like, we
Yeah.
still have four people. What's going on? I think that they might have just. I think the original plan probably was to just rotate through the different levels of squads, like having four, three, or two, with
Hmm.
timers on each, and maybe that just didn't go over so well, or it was just a
Yeah.
glitch where it was gone for a couple of days, or maybe they just wanted people to get accustomed to two-person squads mode. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but I could see that happening.
And I don't know the player base of Fall Guys right now. I know it's nowhere where it was a year ago. We're almost to the 1 year anniversary of this game, by the way. I know it's nowhere near that, but maybe they're afraid that if they have normal show, duo show, squads show, and like a fourth random show, like right now it's try out all the season 5 levels is the current show, then maybe they're worried about fracturing their own player base too much to where it's really hard to find a game. I hope that's not the case, because that would mean not very many people are playing this at a consistent time. But we've been getting into games really quick. It still feels like mostly PC players, though, if you've noticed. It is basically all PC. Like, there's not... Which is surprising, since this game was free on PS Plus, that so many people have dropped off and not held on. But it's a ton of PC players that we're getting paired with. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the games here. There are 6 games in the season. There is a race called Treetop Tumble, which is a 60-player race. It's been kicking off. It kicks off the round when you do all the season 5 shows. And this one's pretty cool because you start up high and there's like multiple places where you can fall down to a lower level. And it's like Hit Parade, how you can fall off at the start. But in Hit Parade, it's beneficial to you to fall down because it's actually faster. But in this, the puzzles and the obstacles are way harder when you fall down below. So that's pretty interesting mechanic that I like, that you're rewarded if you can stay up high. The new mechanics are there's lily pads that you can bounce off of. They're like trampolines. There's rhinos that charge at you and can knock you off the stage. Anything else that's new? The frogs. There's the inflatable frogs.
The inflatable frogs, which are
balloons.
like the biggest obstacle in the race, in the first half of the race.
Yeah.
Those are new.
So what do you think of Treetop Tumble?
Treetop Tumble, overall, it's one of the ones that's kind of growing on me. I just couldn't get the hang of it right off the bat, especially staying on top of the level, which is the faster route. I would always get knocked down immediately. I don't know what it is, but it's just like too small, routes that you take at the beginning, and when there's a flood of people, I just wasn't able to stay on, even if I was in the front. I don't know, I just couldn't get the timing down with the inflatable frogs on the spinning platforms. So that one I was getting a little frustrated with, but the second half of the level I was always pretty good at, like staying on top of the spinning pink thing, or the swinging pink things that you would have trouble with. And then I like the end bit where you can either go on the secret lily pads or down the slides. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I think I'm catching the hang of this one more so than I was at the beginning, and it's starting to grow on me. But I don't know. I think I like the second. It's weird because it's the opposite of Skyline Stumble. I like the second half more so than the first half, and on Skyline I like the first half more so than the end with the stupid pinball crap and the swings.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I don't think it's a top tier race, but the races in Fall Guys are by far the best games. So I like it overall, but it's not one of my favorites. I do like the aesthetic of the season. It feels very Monkey Ball to me. Like it's Fall Guys has always felt a little bit Monkey Ball in its music and some things like that. But
I'll tell you, maybe this is why I'm having trouble liking it so much, but it just can't not remind me of Frog Forest from Sonic Heroes. It just can't. Every time I see it.
Nice. Then there's a Lily Pad Leapers, which is kind of in the vein of DoorDash Gate Crash. It's a race, but it has one mechanic the whole way through. Seesaw, big fans like that. And you're just wall guys, there's no one. So you're just bouncing on trampolines the entire way through, and you have to get higher and higher until you get to the end, which has this like American Ninja Warrior is what you brought up there. It has the stepping stones. Is that what they call them? I think
the 45-degree platforms that you have to hop across, except they're bouncy pads, and I originally couldn't figure it out, but now I think I've gotten the hang of it for the most part. But yeah, this one's my favorite level so far that they've added that I've been able to play. By far, I think this one's really fun. Just love hopping from lily pad to lily pad.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. It's one of my favorite. I think it's probably my favorite of the season also so far. Again, multiple paths. That's something with both of the big races they added, which is cool. And then we've got our least favorite. What's it called? Bubble Trouble, I think.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, and it's like there's
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
There's like these 6 different little, almost like playground areas in this big ring, and bubbles spawn at 2 of them at a time, and you have to pop 15 bubbles to advance. And we don't like this one very much.
Yeah, originally I thought that it was the lack of me qualifying through it that made me didn't like it, but I qualified and I still didn't like it, so I'm not really sure what it is with me. I've never been able to get a gold bubble. They feel impossible to get, like they're always just out of reach, so I'm not entirely sure how to get at them. But yeah, it's just really hit or miss on if you're close to a area that spawns bubbles or not, and then you just got a flood of people as soon as the bubbles spawn, and then you just gotta hope for the best. So I don't know. 15 bubbles doesn't seem like that big of a stretch, but when it comes down to it, I haven't
Yeah.
qualified more than I have qualified.
Yeah, I've qualified twice from this one, I think, and yeah, I've gotten one gold bubble, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of annoying. Like, it's really hard to get bubbles, and the obstacles are all kind of obnoxious to get around, and I don't know.
And yeah, one of the weirdest things is that, with the patch notes of this season, they seem to have fixed a lot of netcode latency issues, but it seems worse to me. Like, we were playing in the same room on different screens, and you were like a mile ahead of me on your screen,
Yeah.
and I was ahead of you on my screen. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not okay. And, it comes back to that bubble map where I'm running along some guy, and I'm trying to, and it looks like I'm hitting every bubble, and I've got 0 points, and he's gotten all the bubbles. And that's just like, that's not okay. I don't know how it's gotten worse, but it seems like it has.
Yeah. And the games like that, tail games, the bubble game, are the ones that just showcase how bad it can be.
Same
Because
with
it usually
the
doesn't
new
matter.
Penguin game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hate
exactly.
the new Penguin game. So I qualified from this bubble one twice and got to the Penguin game. And Zach never made it there. Have you played the Penguin game yet?
Nope, not
Yeah.
yet.
So
Oh,
it's
we should talk about the Rhino one first, because I think that I only
yeah,
played that
uh-huh.
one once.
Yeah, because that can
Played that one the
technically
least.
replace Bubble Trouble in it. Yeah, it's
I
this.
think so.
It's like Snowball Survival, where you're in this arena and there's 3 rhinos that are running around trying to knock you out of the arena. It was fine. We died kind of early, so I don't have a super big read on it
Yeah,
yet.
we tried to cheese it by standing next to the railing and holding each other, but the Rhino just rammed us under the railing. And
I wonder
it
if we
did not
should
go
just try to
well.
hold each other in the middle, though. Like on
Yeah, I
stick
think.
shots, that could work.
Yeah, it weighs us down. I mean, it is a strat that we
Yeah.
have done on other levels, so it might work.
So we should try that. But it was fine. I don't know. I feel that way about kind of this whole
That one's
season.
pretty mid-tier.
Yeah. Then we have the next one that we're going to talk about is Penguin Pool Party, which is like Penguin Pursuit from Season 3, which, if you remember, is the team game, 3 teams, and you're trying to hold on to Penguin as long as you can. You score a point for every second you're holding it, and it's like keep away, basically. And Penguin Pool Party is that, but individual. So it's taking the team game and making you on your own. So there's like 10 penguins for 20 people, and it's just a mess. It's just a grabby mess. Yeah, it's really hard to get away with the penguin. I really struggle on it, and I don't like it very much either. I really like Penguin Pursuit. I think having, like, playing with teammates and having strategies like who's going to go for this penguin, who's going to grab the guy, hold him back, is way more fun than 10 people grasping after one penguin, which just gets really obnoxious after a while.
Yeah.
You haven't played it yet.
I have not played that one, but I've watched you play it in spectator mode, and I can see how it would be frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last one is, what's it called?
Maze
Something-
Temple of Doom.
No,
What
it's
was it
not
called?
Temple of Doom.
I know, but that's what you thought it was called.
Yeah,
The
but-
Indiana Jones movie.
It's a temple where it has
Something
like the
temple.
it has these doors that can fall down like the ones in Gate Crash and
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
Yeah, the opposite of what you would think it was.
DoorDash and it's called Lost Temple, but it's a maze, so it's like a grid, and you have to find all the doors that open and maneuver through obstacles through them to get to the end. It feels very Wipeout to me. Like, I could see Wipeout building something like this, which is some of the best Fall Guys levels do really feel like Wipeout. And I only played it once. I messed up. I was in the lead at the end, but I didn't know you needed to jump on the trampoline lily pad to get the crown. I thought you had to run up this slime hill to get to the crown, and so
You just ran right
I
past it, and
sprinted
everyone
right
behind
past
you
the
just
crowd.
jumped on the lily pad.
Yeah, but it was cool. It's a cool finale. They've tweeted that this is like their most ambitious level because it changes every time. Like the order of the obstacles and which doors fall down and which don't is different every time, which is it's pretty cool. So I like it. We've only made it there once. We gotta
Yeah.
get better at some of these games. But
I know.
yeah, so those are the 6 new games. Happy they added 6. That's a pretty solid number. But we were talking about it. I think Season 3 is just... I don't think they're ever going to top the game selection that they added in Season 3.
I loved almost every level they added.
Mm-hmm.
Of the vibe of the winter theme. It was just a good time. A peak Fall Guys.
Yeah, but I
Not
do...
just because they added Freezy Peak.
They are adding some good one. They are adding some good different types of levels though. Like the trampolines is different, and collecting bubbles, even though we don't like it, it is different. Like so, I do appreciate some of that. I don't feel like they're running out of ideas. I just feel like these ideas weren't my favorite, but it's fun. We're gonna get all the way to level 50 with like 2 months to go because that's how much we play this game. So I'm not.
How long these seasons are?
Yeah, so I'm not worried about it, but I do really enjoy it. Duos is fun. I'm glad that is there for us to try and get 5 in a row just with each other without having to worry about other people. I think if we really sit down for a night and like, okay, we're seriously gonna go for it tonight, we could probably get close. So I do like that, and yeah, just always happy that this game's getting more support a year in, and I hope it just keeps continuing. I hope people are playing this game because, like I said, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely resurged with the introduction of crossplay with PC.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of players, even if there's a lot of PC players. I mean, it's keeping our lobbies full, which is more than enough for me. Yeah, but coming up on a year, the amount we've played it, we still don't have that platinum.
Yeah,
we're gonna get it. We've
come so close. We have come so close. But yeah, we
have
get
both
it
been
squads.
1 game away.
Yeah, I've been 1 game away twice.
Yep. I haven't done it individually. I've been close individually, but it was that situation where I won 2, there was a gap, and then I like won 2 more. And it's just, dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like it. I do really like it. It's no season 2, which was the low point of Fall Guys. But yeah, it is pretty good. I like the jungle vibe a lot, and I'm excited to see what costumes they keep throwing in the store. And excited to level up all the way to 50 again. I wish they raised it to 60. I could use 10 more. Like, why not?
Can't raise a 10 every season.
Yeah. So that is our thoughts on Fall Guys Season 5. We're going to pass on the news for this week. Not a ton happened, so we're going to get to all that stuff next week when Kevin is back to chat about the news. So for now, I'm going to throw it over to past Zach, who is going to pick it up with what we've been playing.
All right, thanks for that transition, future Logan. We are now joined by Kevin. He's back. We missed him for the first part of the show, but he's actually here. And he's going to be here to talk about what he's been playing this week. That's what we're moving into. We'll start with Kevin since we haven't heard from him in a little bit. What have you been playing this week?
Yeah, it's the same as always.
Absolutely.
Classic.
More Xenoblade, of course. Game keeps on going for a while. Story's getting good. We've got some new characters introduced and some new characters into the party, so that's been cool. But other than that, it's about the same. Although I was looking at some videos from the original Xenoblade just because there was like a section. I was like, oh, I want to see what I'm supposed to do here, like what I got to do. And that reminded me of just how ugly that original game is.
It is ugly.
Like looking at the side by sides of just like Shulk from the old one to the new, I'm like, man, this was like considered good on the original Wii version. It is real muddy.
Was it? I don't know. I feel like people thought the characters were always really, really ugly.
Yeah, it was also on the Wii, so
yeah,
lower standards.
Yeah.
But that's good. And then just more Stardew. Still trying to get to the new stuff into midway through spring of year 2, and it's a good time. But
the new stuff at year 3?
I'm not exactly sure if it like depends on when you get certain items or when you complete certain quests.
Right.
But I mean, there's already hints to the new stuff. Like before, like our characters just got married in game, and before I think the hearts only went up to 12. It went to 10, and then you got married, and then it would go to 12. But now they upped it to 14. So I'm sure there's some extra like cutscenes and things that you can see
post marriage.
For post marriage stuff.
The 2 new hearts are after you get married.
Right. Yeah. So instead of 2 post marriage hearts, there's 4. So that probably means that there's more post marriage scenes that you can see with the different characters. So that'll be happening. But yeah, that's been about it. Oh, and then me and Zach played some Fall Guys after recording the last episode. And I was so close to my dub, and I didn't get it.
Yeah. It was on Hexagon 2. I had died like in the previous round. He was by himself. I couldn't help him out, which is the sad part. But
I was...
You got like second place.
Yeah, I got second place, yeah.
He and the dude dove at the same time, and it just gave it to the other guy, who I'm sure has hundreds of wins. He didn't need that win.
So the winless streak continues into season 5, which you guys would have talked about earlier in the show. So one of these days, I'll be getting.
Hey, you've gotten some
dub.
squads wins. We've gotten some squads wins.
Yeah, it's true, but I gotta get a solo win at some point. That's gotta happen.
It's true.
But yeah,
Important.
that's been about it for me.
All right. Well, I'll go next. Like Kevin said, a little bit of Fall Guys, of course. You know, a little bit of Smash Bros. Here and there. Little bit of Minecraft. I actually started back up a couple days ago. Once my friend got back from vacation, we started playing back on our server, which we hadn't touched in a long time. We call it Pirate Island, where it's just a big, massive island, which we just dock a bunch of ships there. And it also had a village on it, and all the villagers are long since dead, so it was just an
Just
abandoned
pillage the village.
I don't know what happened to them. I think it's because since we were there the whole time, the more monsters just spawned at night, and no one could survive. It
Wow.
was just if you
Just
live
everyone.
next to a village, it's basically a death sentence for whoever lives in the village. So
Devastating.
try and live a little further out from a village, unless you're into abandoned villages, and you could just move in. So
Yeah.
it's really what you're looking for. Yep, but I played a little bit of that. On the just me front, no more Mario, not yet.
I thought you said you were going to
Haven't
do
got-
that. You
I said,
Yeah.
and then I
didn't
didn't.
happen? Okay.
I'm just trying. I'm trying my best, but I did play for the first time Castlevania III, Dracula's Curse. All right.
That's what you wrote.
Okay, if that's what I wrote, then that's right. There's too many subtitles. Yes, Castlevania III, Dracula's Curse, which harkens back to the first game, as in it's aesthetically, musically, and plays more platformy like the first one, because I don't think the second one was very well received at all. It was like a lot more choose your own adventure, action oriented in the second one, which was very confusing, and not a lot of people knew what to do, so it made a lot of people upset. So in the third game, they just made it like the first one, which everyone liked, which was probably a smart move because everyone likes the third one, I think. And it also introduced some new aspects like choose your own path, and multiple playable characters. So this one is Trevor, which the Netflix animated show is based off of Trevor Belmont, from this game. This is the only game he's in, I think. And you can go down different paths and collect different characters to play as, but I think you can only choose one other character per playthrough. You can have Alucard, Son of Dracula, Sypha the Magician, or Grant Dynasty, who was not in the
Dynasty,
show,
what a
by the
name.
way. I don't know if it's because his name was Grant Dynasty, but
That's a great name.
I haven't gotten far enough to unlock anybody yet, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's structured. Not particularly long, but I'm having a good time. I love these old Castlevanias. I think they're a lot of fun. Even though the second one was just, I had to look up constantly what to do. It was just
Follow the
trudge.
guides.
It had the best song, so at least it was fun to play because you were just jamming out to Bloody Tears, which is a weird name for a great song. Then I found out there was a Bloody Tears like remix in Smash Bros, and now I use it every time I use the Belmont stage.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's all I've really had time to play this week. Not a whole lot. Hopefully, I'll be able to pack some more. I looked at the list of games I'm currently playing. It's like 7 games. I have
Stretch
not
yourself too
finished the
thin,
game in a
yeah.
long time. Yeah, like I'm still in the middle of Jack 3, Titanfall
Oh,
2,
Jack 3. What a
Hades.
shout out.
It's just I've got a lot going on right now, and I gotta commit to finishing something, or else I'm gonna lose my mind. But
When you got to have to start knocking some of those off before September rolls around, because then you got
I know.
high profile releases.
It's the busy season. August, honestly, No More Heroes 3.
Oh,
End of
that's true.
August, we're playing that. Yeah.
That's true.
oh god, I'm freaking out. All right, what have you been playing?
I've been playing the other half of the Metroidvania namesake, Metroid Zero Emission. Actually have a story about that one that ties into our Ode 2. So I'll start with the newer game I've been playing, which is Mario Golf Super Rush.
Woo.
Picked it up digitally.
Oh, interesting.
I know, right?
Thinking about selling my entire physical collection and just committing to full digital. Thoughts?
I don't think that's true.
I literally thought about it. If that, I didn't think about it for long, but I was like, I could do this. I could commit
And
to
then you're
this.
like, wait, let's not do that. That's
Like,
stupid.
that's a pretty
Yeah.
bad idea.
So Mario Golf got it digitally, and I like it. I don't love it yet. So there's a lot of different modes that you can do. I've played some of the adventure mode. I've played some standard golf, and I've played a ton of speed golf. I'll start with adventure mode because I think that's what a lot of people are wondering about this game. I like it so far. It's a really nice setup where it's like you're a rookie at a new course with a bunch of other rookies trying to win tournaments, and it's like very Golf Story, very classic Mario Golf setup, and I really like that. But I'm worried it's going to devolve into just these random low quality boss fights, which is what Mario Tennis Aces devolved into pretty rapidly. Because I like where it's going so far, and there's been head to heads, there's been challenges like kind of like a target game where you have to try and land the ball in specific zones in this target to score points. So I've enjoyed that. The writing is pretty funny. I mean, it's not nearly as good as Golf Story. It's still got that kind of recent problem with the Mario series in general, just that really bland, generic, vanilla writing that a lot of the Mario spin-offs have kind of had in like the last decade, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's better than the Aces one so far. You can allocate your stats when you level up to different things: spin, power, control, how fast your character sprints in speed golf, and stamina. So there's a few things that you can upgrade, and you get to choose what you want to really focus into, which is nice. And there's different sets of clubs to unlock, different outfits that do different things. So it is a lot more in depth than the Aces story mode, which was just you level up and then you are slightly better every time, and nothing else changes. So yeah, it's better than that. It's not great, good so far. So that's fine. And then the golf gameplay is really good. There's some things that I really like about it. You got your top spin, your back spin, and then you can aim which way you want the ball to go in the air. And then there's some clubs where you have 3 different tiers of where you can aim it. So like you'll see on the power bar like lines that divide the power bar into 3 sections. And then after you set your power and your spin, it goes up again, and that's the time to decide where you want to shape the shot. So if you're using one of the clubs that can send it in 3 different directions, you can be like, okay, first it's going to go left, then it's going to go right, then it's going to go up. So it's like then you launch the ball and you just see it curve way to the left, then curve way to the right, then up over another. And that's super cool.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
really crazy.
That's really cool. There's special shots each character has that do different things. There's wind, there's slope, there's all of that. So the standard golf gameplay is very solid. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, I think that it's good. My problem is with the courses is my main issue with this game. There are 6 courses that are 18 holes each. So I think that's a fine number. Like when I compare it to Golf Story, which I think had 8 courses of 9 holes each, it's more courses. It's more holes overall. So I think that the number of courses is good. I am not in love with the design of them. They feel very bland. I was hoping what we were seeing in the pre-release stuff was kind of just the basics, but it never really gets crazy. It never really gets that insane Mario Sports insane feeling that a lot of the classic stuff has. Like, they'll throw pokies in the desert level. They'll throw piranha plants in the forest level. But they don't do much. They're not really a factor in these levels. Where they do become a factor is in speed golf. When you're running, you have to figure out how to get around the piranha plants blocking your way, or the enemies can attack you or get in your way. And that's what holds every single hole back in the game, is that it's designed around speed golf, which is the mode where you run from where you took your shot to the ball. I'm thinking about like the N64 Mario Golf, where there's a course up in the clouds where you have to hit it from different cloud to different cloud. That would never work with speed golf because you can't get from the cloud to the cloud. So it's like because of speed golf, all the holes have to be completely interconnected, and you're able to run from point A to point B no matter where you shoot your shot. And that holds back the courses significantly.
I didn't even think about that because I feel like even in Golf Story, like in some of those later courses, it was just island to island. Like that's some of the bigger difficulty in some of those later courses. So I get why that would make all the courses seem like a pretty consistent difficulty and a little bland overall.
Yeah. The fortunate upside, though, is that speed golf is really, really freaking fun and the best part of the game. So it's kind of a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
And speed golf is really awesome. I love how it works. I've played it couch co-op with one of my friends, and I played it some of my family over this last weekend, and it's just super frantic. I mean, it feels like classic Mario Party, Mario Kart. Speed golf fits right into that vein. It's super fun, just sprinting to your ball. I really like how the rules are set up. It's total time from point A to point B plus 30 seconds per stroke. So it pays to still be really good at golf and take care of your shots and make sure they land right, but you also need to be fast to beat other people. And it's just super frantic. Some people try and take these crazy shortcuts to get to the hole faster. You can lose your ball and then just be destroyed, and it takes like 15 shots to get back to the hole. It's crazy. You have this dash attack where you can plow through people and knock them over and slow them down a little bit. It's just a ton of fun. It's really frantic. The only hole-in-one I've gotten in the game was speed golf. It was a super good feeling. Win. Yeah, because I fired it, and then I started sprinting, and then it's like, hole-in-one! I was like, whoa! Because you can't see where your ball lands in speed golf because you just were watching your character the whole time, so I didn't even get to see my hole-in-one. It was pretty awesome. So speed golf is great, works on all the courses. Really customizable, too. You can set if you want to do 3, 6, 9, or 18 holes. You can pick where you want your starting hole to be on the course. So, like, let's do the back 9. Let's do the holes 3 through 10, like, whatever you want. You can pretty much do. So I really like that. The character roster is good. Charge and Chuck, King Babam, Pauline, really fun additions that I really like playing as. Charge and Chuck is the character I got my hole-in-one with.
Let's go.
So, yeah, I like it. I love Mario Tennis Aces because I felt like the energy meter and the special shots and slowing down time evolved Mario Tennis forever for the better. I think it's the best Mario Tennis has ever played because of that evolution. And even if it was a little bit content light or a little bit bland, the core gameplay was so good that I kept coming back, and I played that thing on for like 50 hours. But golf doesn't evolve the gameplay enough to make up for its kind of bland design and the courses that are really boring and the writing that's not great. So it's good. I have a fun time playing it. I think it's really friends. But I don't love it as much as I wanted to, or as much as I love Mario.
About what I was expecting.
I just can't hit those highs, huh? From those old school
Not quite. No.
Mario sports games, even if they come close in some respects.
Yeah, and it does come close in a lot of ways, but it just doesn't quite get there.
It's nice to see that these games are technically very solid, like they play super well.
Yeah, no,
just
I
really struggling in the same things over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But speed golf is a lot of fun. There's also battle golf, which is speed golf, but on like an arena-based course. It's exclusive to battle golf, and it's pretty cool too. So I like what's here. It's just it's not blowing me away, which is fine. Like, I don't regret buying it. I don't feel like it wasn't worth my money or my time, but I don't see it having the legs that tennis did for me. We'll see what they add, because tennis did add a lot of cool stuff. So we'll see what golf adds. But yeah, I think it's just going to be like another fun rotation to like, oh, hey, I have a friend coming over. We'll play this for like 20 minutes and move on to something else.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but just not great.
Yeah, some games can fill that hole. They don't have to be these crazy games if you just want to pop it in for a little bit and play it and then move on to something else. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. So I like it, and I have it digitally, so I have it everywhere, which is kind of nice. A game like that is good to have digitally that you can just boot up at any time and play for 10 minutes and move on. But the other thing I've been playing is Metroid Mission. Been talking about it for a while. I am super close to the end. I am really, really close. I beat Mother Brain, who is the final boss in the original Metroid. But in this remake, they added 2 chapters. Yeah, which I'll talk about in a second. I adored the final chapter. You go down to Norfair, and you build up to this epic boss fight with Ridley, which is really, really good, really cool. You get the screw attack, which makes you just a god. You're just ripping through enemies because it's when you jump, you have attack power. And for the entire previous game, when you jump and hit something, it stops your jump and you get hurt. But now you're just zipping around this world, destroying everything. And it's a really cool kind of end game march to the boss. But then when you get to the final kind of gauntlet area is when they introduce the Metroid enemies for the first time. They're not in the entire game until what is the original final chapter, and they're pretty terrifying. They latch onto Samus's head and just suck out your life force, and they just like kind of pop out of nowhere. And to move on to the next room, you have to clear the entire room of Metroids. And there's like one room where you fall through the floor and you land, and then you see like 5 Metroids just fade through the background, and you're like, 5? I'm gonna die! And you just have this epic battle because you can't just shoot them or just shoot them with missiles. You have to freeze them with your ice beam and then shoot them with missiles is the only way to kill them. And it took me a little bit to figure that out. And it's a super cool final chapter that I really loved. And it was kind of the first time that it had really, really clicked with me. And I was super into the game. And then I got to the bonus chapter where Samus loses her suit. She gets kidnapped by space pirates and she's stripped out of her suit. So it's Zero Suit Samus. And it is one of the worst stealth sections ever. It is terrible. There's these space pirates on board this ship. If they see you, they chase you forever. Like through rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms until you get to a point where they can't see you anymore. And those are designed as these little shadow areas. It's like, oh, Samus is hiding in the shadows. The pirates can't see her. But they don't really work. Like, you have to be so far ahead of them to get in the shadow thing for them to not see you. What was happening to me is I would get in the shadow thing, and they wouldn't even be in the room yet, and they would still see me in there. It's like, if the door was open when you get in the shadow thing, and they're faster than you. So it's like, how do I get around these things? So I'm just ripping through this entire level with these things chasing after me. And it's really bad. And Zero Suit Samus has no attacks. She has a stun gun, which can stun the thing for like 2 seconds, but it's not enough. And I'm like, well, I hope the AI in Dread is better than this, because this is the concept they're going for.
Oh boy.
So I hope it's better in a game that is coming out 17 years later. But yeah, that's not great, and I just want it to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to get the bonus chapters, I mean, it's up to your discretion on when to stop playing.
Yeah.
You don't have to play the bonus chapters.
It does. It does have some story.
Then you kind of like forced to, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. But that, Kev, that ties into our ode too.
Yeah. So whenever we've got games that aren't stealth games and they try and insert some stealth mechanics into there is a chance that it can be some of the most annoying levels that you've ever played in video games, and that's what we're here to talk about. Bogus stealth sections in video games. And I'm going to throw it to Zach first, just because I'm curious, because he's a guy that loves stealth. So I'm curious what stealth for him is bogus stealth.
Okay, this is going to make me sound like a I'm not going to look good in this, but one of the things that I put on my list is Alien Isolation, which is a game I played very recently. And the reason I put it on bogus stealth is because the AI is so good. So I think it's just bogus because it's just really difficult, which when you play as much stealth as I have, you kind of look for those more difficult ones, and they come across as a little bogus because the xenomorph has eyes in the back of his head, so you can't really go behind him, which is a pretty big cheesing stealth section kind of thing, is just like crawling behind the enemy as he walks by. You can't do that in this game. And the even more messed up part is that when you start this game, I was playing it with my friends, and it recommends that you play the game on hard. It's like you go into the difficulty choices and it starts on hard, and it's like hard is the recommended way to play this game. So I immediately, my friends were like, well, we got to play on hard.
So on easy.
Yeah, absolutely. So that makes the xenomorph even more adaptable and able to figure out what you do, counteract it, checking under tables, all that kind of stuff. You get guns at some point, which he can at some point he starts holding back, waiting for you to fire, and then he charges at you if you shoot him enough times. So it's like pretty crazy AI. I don't know if I'd call it bogus. I'd just call it, pretty difficult.
Maybe it's one of those things where you play enough stealth games that you've got all of these tricks where you're like, oh, this always works.
Absolutely.
Maybe
That's
even
what
if the
it
AI
is
is smart, they're not going to be able to do this. And then you find a game where it counteracts that and you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Absolutely. This is a game meant for stealth players who are very comfortable. And you need to work around that, which I think is a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it a lot. But in terms of more bogus stealth sections from games that aren't technically stealth games, I replayed A Way Out with a friend recently, which is a game that delves into a little bit of every genre. So of course there's going to be a mini stealth section in there, a couple of them, and it's basically as they're on their way out of the prison, less than halfway through the game, there's like this spotlight, like this massive spotlight section, which is pretty common in the stealth genre, where the spotlight just goes back and forth and you have to avoid it. But the thing that's bogus about this is that you both have to do it, and your partner might not be as good at stealth as you are, which was the case. And the timing is really pinpoint. Like, I was surprised at how precise you have to be to get past this spotlight. So it took us a few tries, because you have to really, and you can, like, you're not no collide, so you could run into each other and screw each other up. So you had to take turns. So it was just kind of like a little annoying stealth section to finish off this whole prison area. And there's a lot of it that's not dependent on you because it's a 2-person stealth section. So I think that's a little bit bogus. Because you could be playing with a child for all you know. Who knows? It's just,
who knows? You wouldn't know. You don't know if you're playing with a child. You didn't.
Exactly. Who knows?
You didn't give him the controller. Oh, wait.
So that was a little bogus. And then I think another one I wrote down was a couple levels in the Hitman franchise, which is one of the more popular stealth franchises. I just remember this one time where I was like in India. I think it was by like a U.S. embassy, and there was like this dude selling some wares. And I was like, well, there's a wrench next to him, and I really need that wrench, so I'm gonna have to take this guy out for whatever reason. So I took him out, and then someone who couldn't see me definitely saw me. So I had to take that person out, and then it was like a chain of people seeing me, and I'm like, I'm not reloading this. I'm just gonna. And then I dragged all 3 bodies into a small room, and then I changed clothes, and then someone walked in the room and was like, "Holy crap, get the guards!" And then I just walked away. It's just like I can't deal with this.
Never ended.
But sometimes you definitely get spotted through walls. I'd say is the big thing.
It's like the cops have been alerted, and it's like, how? There's no one here.
Who saw me? Yeah, absolutely. I think that happened to me more in Hitman than any other stealth game. And then in games like Dishonored, like I can't see you if they're staring right at you. It's like it's really funny. It's hit or miss, but yeah, those are some of the bogus times I've had in the stealth genre.
All right. As for me, I've got a couple. I'm sure there's more that I just tried to block out of my brain. But I do remember one in particular from Far Cry 3, and that's as far as I went. I never got past that level, I don't think. Like, that was it for me. I got to that level in Far Cry 3, and I'm just like, I'm done. This is stupid.
Oh, bogus.
Like,
that you had to stop playing.
Yeah, so from what I remember, it's been like, God, it's got to be like 8 or 9 years. It's been a long time.
Ooh. But
there was a section where I feel like you had your guns removed or something, and basically what you had to do was you had to use rocks to like alert the guards or whoever was there to like, oh, I gotta go walk over here, and then you could like sneak around them and then go to this other section. But from what I remember playing, you would throw the rock and they would like walk over, but it would never give you enough time to get to the section that you needed to before they would turn around and see you walking. Like, I failed so many times.
They're like, oh, it's a rock,
right? And then they would just turn around and like, how do I make it through this? Like, they are going to turn around before I can get out of this area and get to the next section. Like, over and over, I died on that. And it's even worse when it's a game that's never really used stealth before. And then, like, 2/3 of the way through the game, they just throw it at you. Like, here you go. Here's the stealth section. I'm like, come on. Like, It was brutal. And it was enough to make me stop playing Far Cry 3.
Nice.
Stupid stealth sections. And then Breath of the Wild, the Yiga clan, just... Again, it's a game that doesn't really have you do stealth. You can if you want to, but I was never one to really do too much stealth in that game. And then games that have the, no stealth before, and then they introduce stealth with like the insta-death mechanics, get a little bit frustrating. I don't think it was as egregious as some of the other games that I feel like I've played with stealth, but again, it's just the fact that it's a game that doesn't really have required stealth, and then it throws it at you with instant death mechanics gets a little annoying. But yeah, just in general, I don't really like stealth, so I avoid stealth games. And then when regular games throw stealth sections at me, I'm like, oh my god, like,
panic.
Just like I don't want to do this. Like, can I skip this level? It's not great, not a good time. Logan, you got anything else besides your recent exploits in Metroid Zero Mission?
Yeah, we talked about him on this show before, so I'll just give a shout out to the Judgment Chase level. His favorite levels ever in almost
they're pretty
anything.
not good.
They're terrible, especially that one at the end where you have to like the guy twice and then he starts running. I hate that one. It's terrible. And then the Spotlight level in Mario 3D, playing with more than one person, you just get seen. It doesn't matter because the bullet bills don't do very much to you.
Right, yeah. As long as you're moving fast through that level, they can't
rip through that.
They can't do anything.
I remember not stopping. I was just running through that level.
Yeah, whenever I played that level, like, it didn't even occur to me that I was, like, even when I played it by myself, like, it didn't really even occur to me that I was supposed to, like, avoid it. I was just blasting through. And just, because it didn't matter. It didn't punish you or anything. Like, it was just like, all right, just blasting through the whole level. Yeah. Good stuff. I don't know why you like stealth games, Zach. I don't get it.
I don't either. I just click, I vibe. Don't like to be seen.
They're so frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up? These final thoughts will have nothing to do with future Logan and Zach's conversations.
Man, I love Fall Guys Season 5.
So good. Best season since Season 2, right?
Oh, God, I hope not.
All right. But that is going to do it for us on this week's episode of Ode Games. We're here Thursdays or Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, other podcast streaming services that you may use. Our website, odegames.com, also has the audio version of the podcast. You can check out the video version of the podcast on our YouTube page, Ode to Games. This week's episode may go up a little bit later on YouTube, but for the most part, those are up around the same time that the audio versions are up. We're on Twitter at Ode Games, Twitch, Ode Games as well. You can send an email to odegamescast@gmail.com. For Logan and Zach, I'm Kevin. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.